there, my name is Matilda, and I'm a visionary artist living in Montana. Today, I'd like to talk to you about my painting titled The Greater Hand of Love. This piece is the sixth piece in my series, The Awakening of the Senses, which is about our physical senses in kind of metaphysical or spiritual ways. Of course, it also has to do with the sacredness within our physical body and how all things are connected. This piece is about the sense of touch, which is the last sense that I had to paint. However, I am painting the sixth sense and it is almost complete, so you'll see a video of that soon as well. Anyways, thinking about the sense of touch in a spiritual way for me comes fairly easily because every time I talk to humans or embrace humans with hugs or handshakes, anytime I touch someone, I feel very connected to them and I feel their vibes. Even if I'm not touching someone, just being in their presence, I always feel an essence of who they are. And that to me really shows me more in depth beyond just myself what the source is like and what the all in all is like because humans are so very unique. And so I can look to myself and my emotions and who I am to find out who the divine is. But I can also find out more about who the divine is by meeting other people, hearing their experiences, but also being in physical proximity to them and being able to feel how they feel by experiencing their emotions. At least maybe I'm a little bit of an empath, but I can definitely feel other people's emotions, even if they're not talking to me and telling me what's going on. But I think all humans are like that. And I think I'm just sensitive. I've really tuned into that in my life. I've tuned into the sensation of others. And physical touch is something that goes very deep, especially when you bring sexuality into the picture. Touch is lasting. All kinds of touch you can feel even after the person has gone away. Like if someone gives you a hug, you can really feel that hug just lingering on your body even afterwards. And so I do really want this piece to draw our attention to the connection that we can have among humans. And that is a huge piece of my spiritual life to be able to show up in other people's lives and to be able to connect with other people, which is why I'm doing this YouTube channel, why I make my art. I do it to express myself and hopefully relate with others, but also to hear how it relates with others, to hear people's responses and stuff. So that's why I love to hear your comments. So please do leave a comment below about this piece if I'm saying anything or if you're seeing anything that's really starting to resonate with you or make a difference in your life. So this piece kind of talks about not only your own spiritual experience, but your spiritual experience among others. But even deeper than that, this piece talks about your own spiritual experience, that experience that you have within you. And it's beyond an experience, it's very emotional, but it's also beyond emotions. And it is the connection of source and you. So the human and the spirit, how they are one. This piece is the only piece in the series that the border is a physical border. So we have, as you can see, all these close-up images, some sexual scenes, some touches of just humans touching one another, holding hands, little children, the connection of a mother with her child. There's also these hearts in the corner because you have this inner being and the connection of the deepness of who you are and the inner self, as well as you have people touching your heart. Then the second border is a border of DNA, and it has symbols of the senses, which has been an ongoing theme throughout the series. And the only thing that is carried from one painting to the next, which is that senses border. This one, all the borders are a little bit different. I really love this one and that it has this DNA strand, which I cannot believe I didn't put this DNA strand in an earlier piece and that it came so late in the series because it's so deep and connected to this topic that I'm going over. But thank goodness that the DNA strand got in one of the paintings because that would have been really sad if I did the whole series without it. However, I do view my art as a divine flow flowing through me. It's an expression that is myself, but also beyond myself, which is a lot about what this painting has to do, is that this is the divine, and it is you, but it is also beyond you. It's more than just you, it's more than what you can consciously comprehend within yourself. But yet, you are not only human, you are not only powerless, you're not a puppet, you are the embodiment of the entirety of all power that exists in this universe. So, going back to this border being a physical border, this is a window into the spiritual. And a lot of my other paintings, you can go back and listen to those videos. There was the spiritual border on the edge with a window into the physical. But this is the opposite, where we have this window into the spiritual. I see it as a window into your heart. And so, underneath the layer of physicality, underneath the experiences of sexuality and the experiences of human interaction, which are sacred, which are what these locks and keys stand for, that you're in control of who you give the keys to your heart away to. And you're in control of how sacred or how locked up or how open you want to be in these areas. But underneath the physical layer is the true self, the inner being. So it has this wonderful light, these beautiful shining yellow lights, and rainbows of color, rainbows of all the emotions, rainbows of all the experiences, rainbows of full duality of masculine and feminine among yourself. These things were just things that I painted, as I said, as I was inspired. I didn't plan them out. And I had actually wanted to put more details in here. And this is a very simple piece compared to what I normally create. But I've been studying a lot about minimalism and essentialism and just simplicity in general. I'm not necessarily perfect at it, but I did cut my hair, and that's made things a lot more simple in my life lately. And, anyways, I'm going to talk about that more later, but I rarely will do a piece so simple, but I love that it is simple because that's a wonderful picture of the connection of finding the all in all, seeking out God. You know, people go throughout their entire lives looking for God and seeking God, but God is within. The source is within, the all in all is within, the creator is within you. And that is the last place we think to look, the most simple of answers. And that is the truth, really. The ultimate, you have access to the entirety of consciousness, to the entirety of wisdom, all within you, that the strength comes from within. Originally, I painted this hand as a comforting hand because I was in a very down and out place, and my mom told me that regardless of how I feel, regardless of what I can see and imagine, that God's hand is always reaching down to me to lift me up. And that's been a picture that I have carried with me. Just within the last couple of years, she told me that, you know, it's not like something that I had as a kid. It's just this picture of there's always strength available to me. And truly, it wasn't until I found the strength within and I found that hand of love, that greater hand of love within me, greater than my own strength, but yet of my own strength. It is the opposites becoming one. And it is that the strength is greater than me, but yet I hold all of the strength. And truly, this is a whole picture of oneness, of how we are one with the divine. And oneness is not necessarily that we have the power to control the weather and control everything that ever happened to us. But oneness with the divine is realizing every day more and more that we are connected and that this woman, me, you, she is looking up into her own mirror. She's looking up into the mirror of God. God is a mirror. She is a mirror of God, and vice versa. They are looking at one another, and it takes a lot of strength to be able to look up and see the divine, to be able to connect with that kind of strength when you're in a very down and out place. And even when you're in a good place, it's hard not to be distracted. But yet, here she is, looking up and seeing a reflection of who she is within the face of the all in all. Not that God has a face, as I said in the second video, not that God has a hand. These are all just pictures. I'm an artist. It has to do with visual pictures. Although some people would believe that God does have a hand and that God does have a face. It all just comes down to the way that you can relate and the vocabulary that you can use to strengthen you, and beyond strength, to connect you to who you truly are, to your truest self, to your truest power, which is really all that life is worth. Like, that's the one thing in life that's worth it. There's a story in the Bible about these two women, and one woman is sitting at Jesus' feet, just soaking up all of his love, all of his wisdom, all of his knowledge, and the other woman is out doing acts of service. She's serving Jesus and she's serving the woman, but she starts complaining because she's doing the right thing, but it's hard, and this other woman is not helping her, and all this stuff. But Jesus says to her, Mary has chosen the one necessary thing, the woman that was at his feet, the woman that just wanted to be in the presence. And truly, to me, that is the truest part of my spiritual journey, is just tuning in, sort of emotionally, but just being aware that I am in the presence of God, and that I am radiating the presence of God from the inside out, and that other people I meet, the connection with humans, they too show me this radiation of absolute purity and absolute love. The more and more I find my center, which is in the divine, which is in myself, the more and more I am rooted and grounded in the I am, the more I know who I am, the more I know who I am, the more I am able to live with love, gratitude, presence, awareness. It's not to say I'm perfect. It's taken me quite the roller coaster to get to the point of making this video. I'm not perfect. I have so many things that I need this hand of comfort for. But every day I realize more and more my own ability to identify and to become one, to abide in this greater hand of love. To allow this greater hand of love to hold my hand as I paint, to hold my hands as I walk through life, to guide my every move. And it's going to take till the end of my life or longer to truly be one with this ultimate source. But why would that ever stop me from trying? So speaking on that core center of being, that core center of the I am, and becoming I am, that is an endless exploration. And you have to know that. I have to know that this journey to know who we are and to know who the divine is and to know who we are within, the divine is endless. And there are no vocabulary words, no people, no books. There's nothing that can hold you back from that journey of exploration unless you let it. And there are plenty of things that will try. And so it's been quite the journey for myself to be able to release from boundaries that have been placed upon me. I've even placed boundaries upon myself. But being able to move past that and understand that if you get anything out of this video, it is that your relationship with you, your relationship with the divine, is 100% and completely unique. And it will continue to be unique, and it will continue to grow in very unique ways, very twisty, windy pathways, which is why I love to paint pathways. Because, yes, a lot of people will say there is one pathway, but I believe that there's only one pathway for you, and that all the pathways could never completely align, that everyone is always moving, going back and forth, going this way and that, learning at different speeds, at different steps. And so just know that regardless of how in a box you may feel, that that box is only imaginary, it's only vocabulary words, it's only a book or a teaching, a doctrine, a church. I'm not against any of that stuff. That stuff was my foundation and my stepping stone to where I am today, and I would never have it any other way. But the exploration of you and the deepening and the lightening and the joy that can come from the relationship of you and God, that is all that matters. And it doesn't matter how it plays out. You'll know what is true. You'll know what is in alignment with the highest good for everyone involved. This subject is challenging for me to talk about because it is my one thing. It is the one thing that I have pursued my entire life, to deepen this relationship with God and with myself. And as soon as I put those two together, because for years it was just me deepening the relationship with God and leaving me out of it. I was just this lowly thing. But as soon as I started to deepen the relationship of myself and myself, that's when I really found out that this divine relationship can be deepened, even more so than I could have ever imagined. And that is when I started to really, I want to say comprehend, but that's not the right word. That's when I really started to be able to live out that oneness beyond just understanding. That's when I really started to live out myself, to listen to the callings and to be who I've been called to be, and to embody that which is most powerful, that which is embodying that which is all and all, embodying the truest expression of myself, the truest expression of love. And those relationships with other humans, especially sexual relationships, they really are such a beautiful picture of the deeper, higher, more spiritual relationship that we have, that goes beyond our physical bodies, that will last beyond death, that relationship that goes on and on. And that is how I see a lot of relationships in my life. Although I haven't been able to show up every single time as my truest self, but I see the analogy of intimacy with the divine within intimate relationships and family. And so when you grow this relationship between you and the divine, you also invest in the relationships of other humans in your life. And every time you're able to serve yourself, take care of yourself, love yourself, that is overflowing into the lives of everyone in your life. And it overflows as a ripple effect into the entire world. I would wonder your own personal ideas about this topic, so let me know in the comments. Also, please share my art and this YouTube channel with your friends and anybody you think would like it. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm Matilda, and check out my website. Also, if you want to hear more about what rainbows mean to me, there is a link to a blog post in the description below as well. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. So, thank you very much for giving me your attention. I do not take it for granted. Alrighty, may you live in peace, joy, love, and I'll see you next time I make a video. Bye 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 bye.